Hey everyone, Erick Stakelbeck here. Today on the newscast, is the Iranian regime getting ready to strike Israeli targets around the world? A very dangerous situation. Get all the details coming up. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast, coming to you once again from vacation. I'm at the beach for a few days with my family, trying to get some R&R, but the Middle East never sleeps, and the Iranian regime once again is up to no good. We're going to get into that in a minute. Before I do, I just want to encourage you to subscribe to the Watchman Newscast. Click that notification button so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Remember, we're bringing you the newscast even when we're on vacation, every Tuesday and Thursday, as well as the Watchman, our 30-minute TV show, which you can see on Thursday nights on TBN, Sunday nights on the Fox Business Network. Don't miss it. Okay, let's get into it. Now, we've been telling you on the newscast, the past several newscasts actually, of this continued string of mysterious explosions against important Iranian missile and nuclear sites. Now, just last Friday, we had a strike against the Natanz nuclear facility in Iran, which is really one of the major sites there where centrifuges are being produced, uranium being enriched. That site, that Natanz site in Iran, has apparently been set back 1 to 2 years, and the Iranian nuclear weapons program, I should say, has taken a major hit thanks to this very mysterious explosion. Now, many around the world are attributing this to Israel. It's been kind of a covert series of very, very pinpoint strikes against these vital Iranian sites, especially against that Iranian missile program. Many people think cyber warfare is involved. The Israeli Mossad obviously has a history of daring operations, including inside Iran. Think back to 2018, that legendary Mossad heist of Iranian nuclear documents out of Tehran, right under the regime's noses. A ton, literally, of vital documents were apprehended by the Israeli Mossad inside Iran. So obviously, Israel is more than capable of getting inside Iran, getting assets on the ground covertly, and striking against these Iranian sites. But now comes the big question that lots of people are discussing. Again, this string of explosions is going back some 2 weeks now, really has the Iranian regime on its heels, really a black eye for Iran, right? And a bit of an embarrassment to have this covert espionage kind of operation going on for half a month now. It's a black eye for the Iranian regime. So now the talk is turning to retaliation. What will Iran do in response? Already some Iranian officials are making threats against Israel, veiled and not so veiled. One Iranian official called on the world to rally against Israel. Israel has never claimed responsibility for any of these mysterious explosions inside Iran, but the Iranians are pointing the finger at Israel and calling for some kind of global response. What's more likely is that the Iranian regime will respond in one of two ways. Number one, through proxy. Hey, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza, Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. That's the likely route, and that's the usual way that the Iranian regime responds against Israel. Just last weekend, we saw Hamas rockets out of Gaza into southern Israel. Did that come under the orders of the Iranian regime? We do not know. What we do know is that Hezbollah in particular, which is Iran's most lethal proxy, absolutely 100% marches to the drummer set by the Iranian regime. We know that. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza, very dangerous players as well, also beholden to the Iranian regime. And then we have those radical Shia militias inside Iraq that could strike American forces inside Iraq. So if the Iranian regime chooses to, they could activate those forces against U.S. soldiers in Iraq, against Israel, obviously, coming out of Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza. That's usually the most likely route that Iran takes to lash out against its enemies. Another option that the Iranians, unfortunately, have utilized many times over the years is striking at Israeli embassies and consulates and diplomatic facilities and Jewish targets. I'm talking synagogues, cultural centers, not only in Israel, but around the world. In fact, we have a report multiple reports coming out in the past few days that the Israeli Mossad has thwarted attempted Iranian attacks against Israeli embassies in Europe and elsewhere around the world. And we have a track record here, folks. Thank God the Mossad has thwarted those attacks, but we have a long track record of Iran carrying out assassinations, bombings in Europe, in South America, in Argentina, with loads of Jewish blood on the regime's hands dating back to the 1980s and the early 1990s. A lengthy track record of Iranian/Hezbollah terror against Israeli and Jewish targets around the world, not just in Israel, around the world. They see these as possibly more softer targets, I guess you would say. Hitting an Israeli embassy in Argentina is a lot easier than hitting an Israeli target in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, and that's how they look at it. Maybe they will catch Israel off guard, but a key point here, it's not just Israeli targets, folks. It's Jewish targets around the world. And this really keeps with the ideology of Iran and Hezbollah, which is a genocidal ideology, not just against the Jewish state, but against Jews everywhere around the world. How do I know that? I simply am quoting Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, who said a few years ago that it's good that all the Jews have gathered in Israel. That saves us the trouble of hunting them down around the world. They're all in one place, easier to eliminate and wipe out. This is the ideology, folks, and if we don't understand it, we can't defeat it. Nasrallah is not targeting, and the Iranian regime, they're not targeting only the Jews of Israel, the world's one and only Jewish state. No, it's every Jew, from Tel Aviv to Toronto to Texas. That is the target of Iran and Hezbollah. So we're kind of sitting here waiting with bated breath. We expect some kind of Iranian response to come, but Israel will be ready. We know that, and they're on high alert, obviously, right now. And I look at, we could gnash our teeth about this and get concerned and have anxiety, but the Apostle Paul tells us to be anxious for nothing. Jesus says, do not worry. And I look at Psalm 37, where God says that Israel's enemies, the enemies of his people, will plot and plan, but God laughs. Check it out, folks. Psalm 37, the word of God, literally says that God sees the wicked devising these evil plans against his people, and he laughs. Their plots, their plans will come to nothing. So take heart. Be encouraged. The God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob still sits on the throne as all of this unfolds. And I can tell you from being on the ground in Israel on a frequent basis that the Israeli military, Israeli intelligence services, and the citizens of Israel are always on high alert. They are ready. They're prepared. They have their act together. And they're ready for when this conflict does come. Again, we're talking about that great northern war that will come eventually, pitting Israel against the likes of Hezbollah and the Iranian regime in Lebanon and Syria. It's a question not of if, but when. Israel's ready, they're preparing for it. But if Iran chooses to strike at Israel or some Jewish target around the world, could that be the spark that lights the bigger flame of this great northern war? God forbid. So we're watching this closely. If we've learned anything about 2020, it's to expect the unexpected. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. Hey, and one more time, be sure to subscribe. We're coming to you, hey, even from vacation, we're taking a break from the beach, because what happens in the Middle East does not stay in the Middle East. And no matter where you live around the world, this profoundly affects you. Don't doubt it for a second. So be sure to subscribe, click the notification button. Until next time, we'll be back in our normal studio next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Hang in there. God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace.